The AP poll is considered by many to be an outdated system that doesn't matter anymore. In reality, it could mean the difference between millions of dollars and staying afloat in the college football arms race. And the scariest part is, it's completely broken.
Is the Associated Press poll broken?
You know it, I know it, now the whole world knows it. The AP poll is a disaster.
It's clear the AP voters have no idea who's good and how to predict it. Maybe they just don't know enough about the teams.
This is more about the overall kind of AP poll and how do we fix it?
It's a poll that's been around the sport since the 1930s, but is well past the need for a complete overhaul. Because in this cutthroat, semi-professional setting that is college football, every competitive advantage on or off the field has the potential to make or break an entire football program. Millions of dollars are at stake, yet the responsibility is placed on sports writers who either don't have the time or frankly just don't understand the massive influence that the AP poll still represents. The problem isn't that the AP poll is irrelevant, it's that it's not. And earlier this season, an interview with a certain AP voter went viral.
There's tons of people that vote on the AP poll, and it's not a perfect system, but at the end of the day, it's really fun for discussion. It doesn't, probably matter in the end.
Understandably, this caused some heated discussions online. Is this how most AP voters view the poll, as something fun, but ultimately doesn't really matter? It was a bit concerning, but sadly, not surprising given the transparency of the poll. Some of the placements that these writers come up with would boggle the mind of even the most casual of college football fans. Which is sort of the point. There's no hard set criteria aside from just don't be a homer. Which wouldn't be as big of a topic of discussion if it wasn't the standard for how the nation perceives each team until early November. In reality, the AP poll still matters quite a bit. In fact, one could argue that it matters more than ever before. It's a concerning reality that a poll that seems so trivial is having major pull behind the scenes of the college football landscape. Because the AP poll is the beginning of a long domino effect that greatly impacts every team in the country. Once that little number appears next to a school's name, windows of money-making opportunities start to open up. More talking heads start covering that school and its matchup that weekend. Suddenly College Game Day or Big Noon Kickoff creates a segment on said team, or at the very least picks their game at the end of the show. The increased exposure draws more eyeballs to the game on TV, even more voters start to tune into the game. Increased exposure causes more fan engagement, more booster contributions, which, as we're seeing in Lubbock, can mean better players, coaches, facilities, and ultimately winning. And even though the AP does get more relevant as the college football playoff poll comes in to save the day, it would be naive to think that there isn't at least some decision making coming from the rankings earlier in the year. Even if slightly overstated, the AP poll can at many levels impact all of these key contributors to success in today's sport. But with so much riding on these polls, why are we still stuck in this old system? Like I said earlier, this poll has been around since the 30s and has been integral in naming champions for decades. And over the years, it hasn't been without its issues, mostly revolving around disputes as to who should be number one at the end of the year, but also with how the poll was formed in the first place. As many know, it consists of national and local writers whose full-time job it is to cover one specific team. On any given Saturday, the majority of voters are putting 90% of their time and attention into the school they are covering. On top of that, they're expected to give a thorough ranking of the best 25 teams across the country, and all of that due by 10 a.m. the next morning. It just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Aside from the obvious suspicions of bias or lazy box score watching, how can this be the only way we decide who's worth watching and who's not? Again, these polls are made up of voters who couldn't watch all the meaningful games if they tried, especially some of these voters out on the East Coast evaluating teams kicking off at 11 o'clock at night. The most we can expect from them is to check the box score and the previous ratings and make a guess from there. It's a deeply flawed system that, at least at the start of the year, has major ramification on who is in the playoff discussion, and for some schools it even means the difference between a huge payday or not. The ACC recently adopted a tiered distribution system for their new media rights deal, meaning the teams that draw more eyeballs to the league can expect more TV money paid out at the end of the year. This was in an effort to hang on to some of the top brands in the league like Clemson, Florida State, Miami, all who feared falling too far behind teams in the Big Ten or the SEC. So this tiered system is largely based on TV ratings. Depending on how many viewers you draw to the conference will have a direct correlation to the amount of money your school will make. And in some cases, it's a lot more. It's estimated that the top schools in the league can expect an extra $15 million at the end of the year, and less valuable schools can expect up to $7 million less compared to an equal share system. In the business of college football, money has always mattered, but never more than now. Teams in the ACC are obviously trying to keep up with the Joneses by drawing numbers, and what boosts numbers more than anything else? Ranked matchups. Clemson, Florida State, and Miami have been seeking these huge opening week matchups against teams likely to be ranked highly in the preseason AP poll, a poll that's been exposed time and time again for its laughable inaccuracy. These programs are scraping tooth and nail to keep up, and these conferences are financially relying on public perception that's propped up by the AP poll. Surely there has to be a better way, but what can be done? I mean, with so much innovation happening in the sport, why can't we finally address this archaic, broken system? A popular narrative has been to get rid of the preseason poll altogether and begin the rankings after more concrete data is available to look at. Others think it would only be fair to keep rankings going into next season based on how the year before ended. While that's simple and it could make sense, every fan knows that teams in college football can change drastically from year to year. So that may not be the best solution. My question is, why can't college football have a dedicated committee or board to rank teams throughout the year? Why are we still allowing these local writers to rank the teams and set expectations for fans going into the season based largely on helmet decals and recruiting rankings? And yes, we do have the College Football Playoff Committee to make things right at the end of the year, but even that has its issues. First off, with a board full of current ADs, it implies some kind of bias in the rankings. And obviously there's no way to completely get rid of bias from the polls without adopting some sort of computer-generated rankings, which I don't think anyone is advocating for either. Just simply a committee whose only job it is to watch the games and rank the teams throughout the year, with a clear set of criteria and possibly some analytic evaluations incorporated. I understand that sounds very similar to the BCS model of old, and plenty of people complained about that as well. But college sports are uniquely hard to rank because there are so many D1 teams with a wide variety of talent, resources, and other factors. No system is perfect, but I do think that we can do better than the AP poll. Because at the end of the day, college football is no longer masquerading as this amateur league with players who do it for the love of the game. This is one of the largest and most valuable sports entities in the US. With so much at stake in today's game, it's past time we do away with this outdated system and adopt a formula that serves every team based on merit and not brand. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.